In today's episode, we welcome Alice onto the RocketPWR Podcast. We first met Alice in late 2018 at the Castle Games based in Middlesbrough. From meeting Alice at the Castle Games, Alice then became a regular customer of RocketPWR Apparel and really supported us as a smaller brand. Since then, we have invited Alice to become a RocketPWR Ambassador. In the time Alice has been a part of RocketPWR Apparel, Alice has attended photo and video shoots, athlete training days, and much more. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Hi.
So, in today's episode, we welcome Alice and her partner Tom. Are you keeping well in these crazy times?
Just about. We're still plodding along, aren't we?
Yeah, keeping going.
Awesome. I'm going to start the podcast with an apology because I know we've either taken you away from your training or alcohol or potentially both.
Both.
I can imagine. Let's just quickly talk about the RocketPWR at home throwdown. You both took part in that?
Yes, we did.
Perfect. How did you find it and which was your favourite workout?
Relatively challenging. But that's what we signed up to do, isn't it? I liked the 100 burpees for time. Always wanted to do it, but literally never brought myself around to doing it. So when you put it on, I thought, right, that's it, we're doing it.
Well, I was doing the programming for it and I was just waiting for a heavy barbell to come up.
It's been difficult. We didn't have, I think we've only just got 80 kilogram weight-wise. So we'd have been like, 30 and like 25. So we'd have passed out on that one.
But the heavy clean, you would have got that 80 because you just PB'd at 80, haven't you?
I did, yeah, just before lockdown.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When you get back, that will probably go to about 45, 50.
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned in your intro that we first met at the Castle Games in late 2018.
Yes.
How long had you been doing CrossFit at that point? Did you both start CrossFit at the same time?
No,
that was my first official, second. It was my second official competition. I'd been training about a year prior, not CrossFit based, functional training. And then my training partner was like, right, come on, you're doing it. Kind of got chucked in from there, but yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I just sort of got drafted in by Alice. I'd sort of never picked up a barbell before in my life, and I think 2018 I've probably been doing it for 6 months, maybe, if that.
So at that competition, you hadn't even been doing CrossFit at that point?
Well, we train functional, so we don't do the normal CrossFit based workouts. It's more of a functional spin. So Castle Games were his first team of 4 event.
Yeah.
So we'd never even seen the worm before, so we researched that prior, and we ended up tying core bags together to practice as a team of 4. So yeah, that was his first breakthrough as a team of 4.
Well, congratulations on that, and now you're going to the games.
Yes.
Right.
We wish.
Just after the time of meeting you at the Castle Games, but before you become a brand ambassador for RocketPWR Apparel, there was the first Strength in Depth Sanctionals. When we were starting out as RocketPWR Apparel, we obviously had a bunch of goals we wanted to achieve. One of the goals, or something exciting for us, was thinking how cool would it be to see someone wearing our clothing at a competition, no matter how big or small?
Yes.
You were the first person that we actually saw, and we were there in person, and we saw you walking around in RocketPWR Apparel.
Wow.
We clearly didn't want to come up to you and be like, oh my God, we own that top. That's really cool.
That's unreal.
So,
it was, I can't remember when we'd seen it. I'd done something, and they always used to joke about in the gym about box jumps and things, and pocket, and we'd seen your stall, and there were my friends and people from the gym were like, oh, come over, have a look, it's you all over. So that's how it came about.
For us, it was really exciting to see because do you know when you go to a CrossFit event, you whack on your favorite CrossFit gear? It's like going to a wedding.
Yeah.
And then when we saw you, it was like, oh my God, that must be her favourite top. How freaking exciting is this?
That is true. You save your best for your CrossFit
Yeah, you do. Bring out those posh frocks.
I still wear it to this day. The exact same top. They're the first one I've ever bought.
Well, they're females, but we had it in an extra large for some reason, so I wear it as well. Show a little bit of side boob.
Brilliant.
Since then, we've reached out to you and you've become a brand ambassador for RocketPWR Apparel.
Yeah.
What made you say yes to wanting to be part of the team and represent ourselves?
Tom. It was.
I think it was just a new opportunity, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For you, I think it was a bit of confidence booster in a way.
Yeah.
That someone had sort of reached out and
recognised you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I thought I was quite taken aback by it first. I was like, oh no, I didn't. No, I can't do it. I'm not good enough to represent somebody like this. And then Tom had sat me down and did the pep talky bits, and then he was like, what you got to lose, just go and do it.
Yeah. When I sat down with them, it's like we kind of get to give people these opportunities that you and I have been given as well, so we kind of know whoever we write to is going to be really quite exciting for them.
Yeah, it was once you get over the initial shock, you were like, I was just like, wow. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And for those of you that are listening to this podcast, when we reach out and invite someone to become an athlete or an ambassador, we give them the full outline of what this entails, what we expect, how they will be treated as a part of RocketPWR Apparel and the brand. And I believe, and Emily believe, that we are 100% follow through with everything we promise to each and every single person that represented us. With that being said, you and Tom have both been to a photo and video shoot that we have held. You've had the opportunity to hang out with our athletes as such and other ambassadors, so you've got to kind of meet the entire team. How was it to go through that day and then to see the final product, the photos and the videos and when they were released? And is a photo and video shoot what you expected it to be?
I was so nervous leading up to it. When you first asked us to come down, I was so excited, and then as it got closer and closer and closer, I got more nervous and more nervous and more nervous. I had a few cries because I was like, oh no, I can't do it because they're really good athletes and I'm just going to be there not doing anything. And we had a few pep talks again, didn't we?
Yeah, long drive, so I think it was like a bit of a build up in both ways.
The drive was like 3 hours for you guys.
Yeah.
But it sounds overall like joining our team was quite a traumatic experience.
Oh, no. It's just the way I am. Anyone will tell you that.
How did you find the day, other than being nervous once you had got into it and kind of being asked to do this, or just get on with it? And then seeing the final product once you would receive the email.
I absolutely loved it. It was one of the best days I've ever done. Never done a thing like that before. I've never been on a proper training day. I've only ever trained with my own crew and friends in the gym. So to go take me out of my comfort zone and do something completely different, I absolutely loved it. Met everybody, met loads of new friends. Everyone was so welcoming. It was brilliant.
And how did you find it, Tom? Because you came along being Alice's partner, so not only were you there for the long old drive, you got to actually join in when you got there as well. And I think it was very last minute for you to be joining in, wasn't it?
Yeah. So obviously I'm not a ambassador or athlete per se, but with Alice, I just sort of get to jump in on a lot of stuff, which is really good for me. There's no pressure on me to sort of go 100% at everything, and it would just sort of steady away. Obviously later on, sort of found out that I was carrying a bit of an injury, but like you, there's no pressure to sort of perform at any given sort of level. It's just do what you can, do your best,
and we all had a laugh.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah, because with the athlete days, if you're trying to go for a 1 rep max on the video or on the photos, your face, you're going to look a bit wrong. But
Yeah.
we would much rather someone do like a sexy 40 kilogram clean and make it look smooth for the video or for the photo. So it's going to actually turn out better for them and you as a final product.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Moving on from the Rocket Power Athlete Day, during lockdown, you've continued to train daily. Has it been hard to continue to train at home, or because you both get to train together and you're so like-minded, has that made it much easier?
Yeah, to be fair, there's been days where we've struggled with motivation. I think, like everybody else, you're limited to what you can do. So we're trying to mix it up a little bit still, keep on top of it. So we've written his little schedules out, haven't we? Of what to do every day and try to mix it up that way. Been out on bikes, so it's not something we've ever done. We've gone for bike rides every now and again, but not as often as what we've done now. So I think we've taken to it quite well. And we just bounce off each other, so it works. It's one thing that we've managed to keep same in this crazy world at the minute.
And how much equipment did you have at the beginning of lockdown, and how much have you purchased during this time? Because every other photo on Instagram, something new seems to be arriving at your doorstep.
That's
We're
true.
sort of lucky in a way that we both work in sort of a
Leisure.
health and sort of fitness environment anyway. So a lot of kit is either sort of like available to us anyway, or we can sort of loan for the duration and then give it back afterwards. But we have had to buy certain pieces just to build up a bit of a collection, really.
So we already had like kettlebells. So we had his kettlebells. We had his own bars that we normally keep at the gym. We brought them home. We ordered the ab mat for handstand push-ups. Dad was lucky enough to borrow us a wall ball each, so we managed to do a wall ball that we're currently doing up against a tree. Don't ask.
The settings that you've got in that field is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you record those videos, and I was looking at doing a thumbnail for you today, and I stopped your video, and the sun was coming down, the grass was growing so green, and I was like, oh my God, this is like literally living the dream. I wouldn't even say there was a lockdown.
I don't know if you've seen this sort of natural Olympic lifting platform that we've discovered, but it's fantastic and it's saved us quite a lot of money. So that's a good point.
That moves really nicely into my next topic. Not only do you both train and compete in functional fitness / CrossFit, but Alice, I know that you've dabbled in weightlifting. Tom, I'm not sure about you, but is this something you want to pursue further down the line?
You did it once, didn't
you? I have had a brief spell in it, but obviously I've had quite a long period out, so
it's building your strength.
Sort of just been attending with Alice again and sort of spectating and a little bit of maybe coaching at a push.
My priority at the minute is obviously CrossFit. That's where my love and my art is. We got a new weightlifting coach a year ago. He joined our gym. And then he kind of like guided us through the weightlifting side. So we are pretty much just going with flow, if anything. So I think I did 4 matches last year off the top of my head. It's not fast enough pace for me. It's kind of, you do your warm up, go out and lift, but you do 6 lifts. I like stuff where it's bang, bang, bang constantly.
What you've just said is exactly why I've never done one.
Yeah.
It is absolute silence when you're lifting as well. There's nothing.
No, it's very surreal. But I'll have a go out, mate.
It takes me a good 20 minutes to warm up for a good depth air squat. So you can only imagine how long it takes me to warm up for a complete snatch.
Yeah, it it is slower compared to CrossFit, and I think it's that I still need to get used to and adapt to. But I mean, I make numbers up, so.
Within CrossFit, do you compete as an individual or do you mainly compete as a team?
Both.
Yeah. I've done my first individual were last year, which were the Castle Games. All the rest were same sex and teams of 4. This year, I went through 2 qualification periods as an individual. I still prefer team. I think I put a bit too much pressure on myself. So where I'm a team, we play to each other's strengths. So I ain't got a lot to worry about if I'm not good at one movement standard compared to another. And if that comes up, I tend to panic. So yeah, we do a mixture.
Do you get worried about CrossFit competitions and make them a traumatic experience? Like you just said, you focus on what you can't do instead of what you can do.
Yeah. So I'll always remember last year with my individual event at Castle Games. So first time I'd stood by myself before, and it were a clean ladder. So the most I'd ever cleaned, I think it was squat clean. Might have been squat clean. The most I'd have ever squat cleaned in the gym was 70. And on the day, I'd got under 80.
Nice.
And stood 80. So I was like ecstatic. Got to where I caught it, looked at my friend. My friend was crying, so I started crying. Then I got told off halfway through. And I couldn't even attempt 85 after that because I was just ecstatic. I couldn't believe it.
And Tom, whilst you're on the sidelines with Alice either crying or being ecstatic, what's going through your head? How do you feel as a partner?
Obviously, like
honest
proud,
answer.
but in the same sense, it's quite bad when your partner is squat cleaning more than what you tend to squat clean. But I do have an excuse now, which is legitimate. So, but she is like super strong for obviously how long she's been doing it, and she's progressed massively.
And would you rather be competing than spectating, or do you enjoy spectating?
I do enjoy spectating. I like competing. I'm similar to Alice. I prefer to do it in a team. The only individual that I have done is Rain Hills, and it was quite possibly one of the hardest things that I have ever done. So I seeded in Kennedy, which is one below second highest, one below Rocket, and everything that came up was possibly my worst sort of aspect of what it could have been. There was no sort of my strengths in a sense. So it was really difficult, and that sort of in a way has put me off a little bit, like rushing into individual comps.
And was that in Manchester, or did you do that at Body Power?
It was Manchester.
Because I had exactly the same experience in Manchester. So not only like is it cold where I train, but the arena where that was, it was just so hot and humid. And even when I wasn't doing anything, I was just sweating all the time. And because I was in the higher category, there was snatch, and I absolutely hate snatch. I'm terrible. So I think I hit 75 for a PB on that day. And then I absolutely love gymnastics, great at it, besides Chester bar. And then the other workout had bloody Chester bar in it. And I was like, what is this?
That genuinely sounds like the exact same thing that I had. It was double unders, snatch, or cluster, which if you've seen me train, double unders is my worst nightmare. Cannot do them at all. But the last one, luckily, it were burpees, running, and rowing, which it sort of stood me in a good stead for the last one and sort of give me a bit of a boost towards the end, at least.
And have either of you got any competitions booked in for when this pandemic's over?
We had
Rumble and Humber.
we had Rumble on the Humber, which is mixed pairs, so as first one together. We normally argue in the gym, so they normally have to separate us. So we're going to give it a go this year. Oh, that was the aim, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we're in Hull when that's rescheduled for Rumble on the Humber. We've got Castle Games same-sex threes. So we've got a new recruit in, myself and Sarah. So that's something different. We want to have a go at like all the different aspects and variations of CrossFit teams. That's his aim.
Rep it out.
Rep it out.
Yeah.
We've got Rep it out coming up.
So we did Rep it out last year, which is same-sex pairs. So we're gonna have a go at that again. Obviously not me and Alice.
Yeah, not us both together.
Although she probably could
Apparel will be there both days because we're one of the sponsors there, so we're going to be hitting it up as a vendor. So if you guys want to call yourself RocketPWR Apparel and compete on our behalf, you're more than welcome to. But I think myself and Damien are going to be part of a Rocket Power team as well, so we may be competing on one of the days.
Yes, fantastic.
Then I think that's a good place to leave the podcast, as we've held you away from your freshly chilled beer for long enough. Is there anything else you guys want to add to the podcast before I let you go?
No, just thank you for having us and for basically everything you've done for us. We really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Thank you for taking your time to chat with us. Stay safe, and we shall see you very soon.
You too.
So, thank you very much, guys.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.